on us, step up on us. Diamonds. Diamond, diamond, diamonds. Diamonds. Diamond, diamond, diamonds on my wrist. When I step up on us, step up on us.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down industry headlines and provide a different perspective out here. And at the end of the day, you guys, it's all about education. It's all about progress and moving this industry forward. We are all about small business on this show. That 97% of us that are out here who are trying to live out their American dream, it is my job and my duty and the love of my absolute existence is to provide education for people out there to make it in any market that's out there. It's Tuesday. It's the 10th of May, and here we are. Before we get into today's episode, though, as always, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at B-Hub. You guys, asset reutilization is the wave of the future in transportation. Whether you're a carrier or a broker alike, we need trailers, right? We need access to them. And sometimes things happen. So if you're a broker out there, you can legitimately utilize their app, their platform to create a drop trailer pool for your customers out there. How many of you have made a cold call and the responses you were asset only? Now you have that capability, and then furthermore, if you need to, if you have some power only freight that's out there, I've had customers come to me about drop trailers. I've had customers come to me about one-way power only runs, but we need to provide the trailer and everything for that stuff. So again, it's like, what can we do out there to provide value to our customers? So like out here right now, and you'll see this kind of coming across the ticker. This is out of York, PA. As you can say, it's close to Philadelphia. They have repositionings available to head up into the Montreal area, the Toronto and the Toronto area. And if you have any freight going in and out of those markets, they have trailers for you to utilize in that. They also have them coming out of Montreal. As you can see, you can go back down to Shippensburg, PA, Columbus area, Chicagoland, and down to St. Louis. So as well, if you have freight, you got to think outside of the box. And then as you can see, you can get paid to do this. All right. So if you're a carrier out there and you're watching this, you can get money to reposition this trailer and you can get paid for the freight that you're going to be putting inside of that. And you can see that here as well out of the Glade Spring, Virginia area. They got a bunch of trailers looking to go up into Canada, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vancouver. You guys, look at this. Look at this option. Like you get paid $18.50 just to move that out there. So again, if you're getting work done on your truck and you don't have access to your trailer right now, if you're a fleet, this is an opportunity for you to do that and stay in business and to keep making money in any market that's out there. So again, check them out. You guys reach out to my man, Xavier Campos. He is my point of contact over there. And he can get you guys all set up and rolling on that. Did you guys see fuel is up again? The price of gold is what I'm calling it. I'm literally referring it to the price of gold. It is now up to $5.62 a gallon for gold right now. And it's up like 11 cents week over week. It is up $2.43 a gallon year over year. So this is one of those, this is one of those interesting times out there, you guys, where we need to continue to, got to find solutions no matter what. All right. Because the freight's going to move in any freight market that's out there. The freight moves. And is it going to be with us or is it going to be with somebody else? But again, we'll get into that a little bit more here, a little bit on today's show. Good morning. It says LinkedIn user. This might be my business partner, Kyle Provost. What's up, Xavier? Good morning. Hit him up, you guys. He's in the comments. He's ready for you. Good morning. The truckload repo is a great move, or reposition, not repo. Reposition is a great move when they are empty because it's so advantageous for fuel economy. Matt Fink, what's up? Matt Fink's a good guy. You guys need to connect with him. Also, daily reminder, International Road Check, May 17th through the 19th. Wheel end components are going to be the focal point on that this year. Also, this is day 22 of there being a truck parking issue in this industry, as well as facilities out there that do not let drivers use the bathroom. Again, I'm not going to stop talking about this until there's meaningful change, because I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for vanity metrics. I'm doing this for progress in this industry. And we need to bring awareness out there. And we need to educate people. And that's just what we do. So there's been a lot that's been going on here. I mean, obviously we got fuel that's up. We got a lot of interesting things to talk about today. And again, we're here. It's Tuesday. And let's get into some headlines. So the first one is coming from Fortune. And the title of the article, "We are not doing our best to solve the truck driver shortage." It's interesting to hear that headline that's out there, in my opinion. So we're going to get into this there. Let's see. All right. Increasing trucker. Okay. This is from Fortune. We are not doing our best to solve the truck driver shortage. The nationwide supply chain crisis triggered by the pandemic has led to bare shelves, price inflation at grocery stores, and focused attention on the workforce challenge confronting the trucking industry. Increasing trucker compensation has helped, but it didn't solve the chronic driver shortage. In fact, cumbersome licensing and testing processes continue to limit the number of new drivers entering the industry. The administration has been slow to, driver technology problem, leadership vacuum persists. The federal agency regulating commercial trucks. And then this article does a breakdown that's out there. Let's start with obtaining a CDL to operate, a prerequisite for all professional truck drivers. For anybody out there who did not know that, an entry-level driver training rule that took effect in February mandates that all aspiring CDL holders complete a training program from a registered provider before they take the skill set. Prior to the new policy, driver had more choice in how they developed the competencies needed to pass the exam, thereby enabling more workers to enter the industry. I don't think there's anything wrong with having people required to pass to go through some training to get behind the wheel of a truck. I can't argue with that and say that that's a bad thing, because I think that anybody out there who has been driving for a long time, we want people behind the wheel who are accurately and adequately trained to do these jobs, in my opinion. There's also, it goes on to say, an apprenticeship program for younger drivers slated to launch soon is a step in the right direction. Established with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, the pilot initiative removes, we all know that it's removes the 18 to 21 year law, but it's a state-by-state basis. You just can't cross state lines out there. So if you're 18 years old right now, you can get a CDL. You just can't cross state lines. And that's what they're doing. And then it said, unfortunately, Congress has capped the number of participants to the pilot at 3,000, eliminating 1,000. It's not it's a pilot program. I don't think it's eliminating anybody from doing it. I mean, again, and I've talked about this in the previous show, that there needs to be some actual solid guidelines for this, because again, I don't think that we just give them a week behind the wheel and then put them out there on the road. Like we need to train these people up to do the right thing. I mean, if you're out there and you're in other trades and other blue collar jobs, those individuals have apprenticeships and they're like for 2 years before they can go out there and do a lot of that stuff. So again, there's nothing wrong with bringing people on, but it's like there needs to be an emphasis on training. Let's get people excited about this industry. Let's see. It says, to improve the safety and efficiency of the trucking industry, lawmakers need to expedite the regulatory process tied to the driver assist technologies. Let's see. Data has shown that forward collision mitigation technology can reduce front-end commercial vehicle accidents by up to 44%. I think that, again, non-driver facing cameras, I know from a lot of the drivers that I've talked to out there, I wouldn't want a camera facing me in particular. Outward forcing cameras, I know that there are some definite benefits to having that as a business owner, because I mean, you see nuclear verdicts happening all the time. As a business owner myself, I would want to have security steps in place to protect my company in the event that somebody is trying to fraudulently ruin what I'm building. So I don't think that that's a bad thing to have out there. It also talks about autonomous or automated vehicles. Again, I think that what you'll see, I mean, it's just funny that there's like, of course there's a push for new technology and out there. It's just, to me, it's going to be, if this current administration is obviously about green technology and green movement and everything, that's why I think, but it's like, even within the autonomous space, there's still diesel, engines in some of them. Let's see. It's more than ever, we need bold leadership at the federal level to propel the industry forward. I don't think the feds are going to be the answer to all of this. I think that we need to relook at some things, but again, I'm not the biggest fan of, government, telling us what to do. I think that's how it should be set up on a state-by-state basis. But yeah, there needs to be like a set standard across the board for training and everything out there. But I think that, yeah, leadership, we do need strong leadership. And that's the whole point of our elected officials is strong leadership, not self-serving leadership. Let's see here. Then let's, regulatory reform and everything they talk about, all that fun stuff in there. Yeah, we're not doing it. See, my problem with this article is, again, it didn't really offer an alternative solution, in my opinion, to what we could do to improve it. It was a lot of, because again, it's like, is there even a truck driver shortage anymore? I mean, I personally don't think there's a driver shortage. I think that there's plenty of freight out there for the trucks that are out there. I think that, again, and my stance on this has been very clear from the beginning. We have a marketing problem, and we need to do a better job of attracting new people into this industry. Growing up in small town USA like I did, there wasn't trucking jobs that were coming out. The only reason I knew about trucking is because my dad drove, and I think that if we want to get people excited about it, again, shout out to Dave Dean at the Next Generation of Trucking over in Patterson, California. They're teaching people about this in high school. That's how we can keep the pipeline of drivers full. That's what we need to do, because as the workforce ages, you can't just leave that alone. All right. You got to keep working through. We got to keep our pipeline full. We got to get people excited about freight. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of individuals out there who are young, who don't want to work in an office. All right. They don't want to have a boss, but they want to start their own company. That nomad lifestyle is appealing to a lot of people. That was my old man. My dad loved driving trucks. He loved being out on the road. And I know there's a lot of drivers out there who like to do that as well. So we need to appeal to them. Like, the modern technologies that are in the sleeper of a truck now are better than in most apartments in major cities, essentially. So it's like, what's important to an 18 to a 21-year-old or early 20s? Let's market to that, because that's that next generation of driver we need to bring into this industry. We can't just, like, again, we can't point out like, oh, there's a driver shortage, but then not offer any substance. That's my biggest problem, is there's no action plan laid out there. And that's what I want to see. That's my call to the industry. What can we do to better market to that next generation of truck drivers? That's what we need to focus in on. Going to get caught up on some of these. How would I measure meaningful? V, are you talking about the bathroom thing? I think that it would be a hard look at there of the facilities that haven't historically had that as an option, or if they're not going to allow the driver to use that, allow the driver to leave the facility to go drop their trailer and then go and use the restroom and everything else and do that stuff. Again, I think that there needs to be a hard look at that. I just don't believe in holding somebody there for 6 or 7 hours and they can't leave at all or, do anything. But again, there has to be accountability on all sides of it. I feel like if, you want that, it's all about, I don't know. To me, it has to be attacked from all sides of the industry. It can't just be drivers screaming out that there's a problem, but then they're not going to do anything about it. Because I think that a lot of facilities that have this might be because of certain situations that has happened. That has been that thing. And I've had drivers on my podcast as well. They've talked about that. So again, there's more of, but I think meaningful change would be if there's an insurance issue that the company won't allow it, they need to allow the drivers to at least leave if they're going to be there for 4 hours or 5 hours and stuff like that. I hope that was what you were getting at there, man. Kyle Provost, what's up? Samantha Bass, Andrew Teal, he's always got great stuff to talk about. The training to get a CDL is the same regardless of the age. So if you're 18 and a valid CDL holder, I would expect you have the same training. Amen, Teal. And why can a 18-year-old shuttle trailers around? Yes, exactly. There's no difference to me out there. And again, it's like, if you look at the state of California, you can drive from San Diego up to the top of the state of California. It's like 900 miles, but you can't go 400 miles over to Phoenix. It's ridiculous to me. Let's see. How would the industry know that the situation is proving service? Yeah, I could see that. Have said this and so no one says anything, but because the one facility doesn't offer it and drivers voice. Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid point. That's a very valid point, V. I think it would be like an overall driver, it would be an overall pull from shippers. And I also think, like, in any market, when there is, I would market that if I was a shipper. Like, if I had on-site parking for my drivers, if I had a driver lounge, if I had all of that, I would market the shit out of that. I think, to me, that is a great way to always ensure that you have capacity for your freight. Robert Powell, good morning. LinkedIn user, whoever this is, TikTok. I don't think you really want to see me dance at all, but I will. Louis, buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Let's see here. Article number 2. is going to be, this one is from Fleet Owner. And it is, title of this is What It Takes to Keep Drivers Happy. It says professional truck drivers stay or leave based on reasons to do with more than just money, how well their trucks are spec'd. It starts out here. I'm sure we've all been wondering about these things. When will inflated equipment costs start to level off? Are the driver and technician shortages getting any better? Is there a plateau for driver and technician wages? How long will diesel prices stay this high? When it comes to, is there a plateau for driver wages? If you own your own company, no, there's not. But I mean, that's just the risk and reward of going out there and doing it on your own. You can make as much money as you want. That's out there. And again, that comes with, I think, really emphasizing on finding those direct customers and just keeping your trucks moving. Or, it's not even if you can't find those direct customers, working with the right brokers that are out there and finding that established lane to operate in. Diesel prices, I don't know. I on this one, for me, I think that there needs to be something done about this, because like it's absolutely out of hand. It's absolutely out of hand where it's going. So, and then, again, this is another thing, is I don't have all the answers to these questions, or I don't have the answers to these questions. So why are we posing questions that we can't answer? I think that there's a lot of power in going after topics that you can provide some solutions to, instead of just like putting out the issue. It's just like the sky's falling or the building's on fire, and then, oh, fuck those guys. Let's see. It seems like it'd be now good. It goes on to say, now seems like a good time for us each to look inward at our own businesses and focuses on the things we can control. I agree with that. Should always be your main focal point as a business owner, is what can you control when it comes to your costs and everything. With my conversation with Adam Wingfield yesterday, we were talking about that. When it comes to drivers, we need to pay them a competitive wage, or we run the risk of losing them to other opportunities that pay better. However, I believe drivers stay or leave based on reasons that have to do with more than just money. I think the equipment fleets have what the equipment fleets have available for their drivers, and the way the equipment is spec plays a role in attracting and retaining drivers. I am not implying that your trucks must be the latest models, given the current semiconductor shortage. We know that that isn't even possible, but your vehicles have to be well maintained. Drivers want to drive. When your equipment isn't maintained properly, or when your equipment is maintained properly, it is less likely to break down. I think pay is a part of it. I mean, if you think about it, though, you guys, like when you do like an hourly breakdown, because again, like they're on the clock for 14 hours a day. They're not always getting paid for every single second that's out there. And for a lot of us, and again, I understand the counter argument of somebody who's, a salaried employee or anything like that. But I think that that's why there's also a benefit of looking at driver pay and salarying these drivers, so they are compensated. I think like there are some companies out there that do offer a very competitive salary program that helps offset a lot of these things when it comes down to it. And then, yeah, I think maintaining your equipment is extremely vital for the longevity of your business. And you would want that. Like, again, with International Road Chat coming up, I would put in the work now. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine this morning about this very topic. Put in the work now. So if you do get stopped, and they pass you, your safety score, all of that stuff improves, which makes you look more appealing out there to the market. So again, I think like maintaining your equipment it should go without saying. It also talks about trucks needing to be spec'd with some basic creature comforts. Consider upgrading seats to premium options. Make sure the radio is up there. And then it also talks about adding to improve safety, ergonomics, and drivability. Items as predictive cruise control can make the driver's life a lot easier. Now's a good time to look at routing. And that's another thing too about trip planning, looking at that. Like, let me start with the comforts, the creature comforts. I think like having fridges in there for your drivers should be a thing. TVs, modern comforts of home, Wi-Fi, everything. I don't know. As a business owner myself, I feel like your team is an investment. I would want to invest in everything to ensure that my drivers and my team is taken care of out on the road. That's the way it should be, and that goes as I'm building this out too. I want my team to be comfortable. I want them to want to come to work. That's how a business owner needs to look at it, is you're treating it as a business at the point. It's not an expense. It's an investment. You want to reduce your driver turnover. Don't give them any reasons to leave your fleet. Not everybody is intoxicated by making an extra $5,000 on a sign-on bonus. Not everybody's done that way if they're taken care of, that they're treated like a human being, you know? And I think that that's one thing that needs to be looked at. You know, again, if you're out there and you're struggling to hire people, what can you do more? You know, what can you do more? Is it more of a heavier emphasis on training and retaining people? Yeah, let's see. Andrew Teal, or sorry, V, I just saw this for sure. I was thinking the same whenever approach for carriers contact ad hoc work. Customers can talk about the benefits of the carrier beyond standard payment terms. Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with that. Teal, is the salary, that RPM for the load and expected to be time between picked and delivered, those 2 hours free? Let's see, that's supposed to be the rate. Shippers paying for all hours will want to see an RPM drive time reduction. Will they not? So I think the companies that I've talked to, Andrew, that salary their drivers, it's more of the internal time save out there, because they're not arguing about miles at that point. They're not arguing about a lot of the stuff that is kind of a typical point of contention right now. Like, hey, I'm showing 900 miles and you're only paying me for 800 miles. I think it's for the overall time of it. When it comes to, I don't know how they would price out their lanes to their customers based off of that, who want a rate per mile on it. I don't have all the answers to that, but I know that it cleans up a lot of discrepancies internally between the driver and the company itself when it comes to their overall compensation in time out there. And then furthermore, you know, offering, you know, insurance to the drivers that are out there, PTO, pay time off, that's huge, you know, and I think that there's a lot of great ways of looking at it. Let's see. And here's another thing, that fleets also need to foster a good relationship between drivers and technicians. I would say that that's entry level, but okay. Let's see. Successful fleets are making the investments in their driver and letting them know how important they are to the organization. That's the thing. It's not just about like driver appreciation week. Like, I want to see, you know, more of an emphasis on the investment of the employees. You know, like I think every single one of us want to be a part of something bigger, right? Every single one of us want to, that tribe, that communal mentality is a thing. You want to be a part of it, and you want to be a part of something great, you know? And I think that looking at it differently, what can you do to ensure that your team is the most successful? Because it is an investment. Business is an investment. There's a lot of risk out there. There's a lot of risk about reseating your staff, whether you're a brokerage or a carrier or whatever that looks like. Reseating the cost of retraining, recruiting, all of that stuff. I wonder if you could break all of that down, what it would be if you just invested 50% of that back into your current staff. Now, that doesn't solve everything, and I know that, but what that would look like, you know, is that an increase in pay, an increase in comfort, paying for your driver showers, stuff like that, parking? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but again, I think that that's a way to look at it. So that article is from fleetowner.com. What it takes to keep drivers happy. Again, it's open-ended. There's a lot of stuff that's out there for it. Again, if you treat your people right, I know it doesn't solve everything, but I think it puts you a step ahead out there. Lauren Began, what's up? A general rule of thumb is to treat people. Yeah, I would say that's very fucking accurate, Lauren. Treating people like human beings. It's amazing how far you can get when you throw a little bit of respect out there. And then furthermore, I think that saying goes, it just goes, nobody's going to know how much you care until they know how much you care. And I think investing in your team is a very positive step forward. This last article comes from trucking.org. I had to talk about this because Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher is a champion for trucking. Born and raised in Wisconsin, massive fan of the Cheesehead State. So this article talks about, in a highly productive state like Wisconsin, sustaining the economy is a team sport. Packers, what's up? We're all about football, bratwurst, and cheese and Miller Lite back there. Cheese lovers, of course, there's a cheese lovers comment there. Cheese lovers appreciate Wisconsin for churning out about a quarter of the nation's total cheese. In addition to the smorgasbord of other popular foods, beer, and agricultural products. But the dairy state is also home to a robust manufacturing base, creative machinery, power tools, and other durable goods that supply many businesses and homes across the country. But this enormous productivity can't go anywhere without trucks, which I think we all know that, which is why the trucking industry is the lifeblood of the state's economy. It's an essential link connecting Wisconsin producers with their customers across the nation. Nearly 95% of all manufactured tonnage in Wisconsin moves by truck. Like, that's fucking awesome. From the farmhouse to the deli counter, and from the factory floor to the warehouse and store shelves. Moving this heavy payload requires a strong workforce. Wisconsin is home to more than 20,000 trucking companies. Do you guys think about that? 20,000. Mostly all of them are small and family owned. Obviously, you got the big players out there in Wisconsin, the big orange machine, providing 1 out of every 15 jobs in the state. Like, that's so clearly trucking is the number one employer out there, I would say. I mean, unless, again, correct me if I'm wrong. And then also an annual salary of $50,000 a year, which where I'm from, that's good money where I'm from. Maybe not right now with inflation, but $50K a year is a good salary where I'm from in northern Wisconsin. All right. The teamwork extends beyond producers and transport. It depends on elected officials. And then this is on Congressman Mike Gallagher that's out there. Yeah, he's a veteran as well. And he knows what it's like to be in an industry where things are tough. Definitely, Andrew Teal. Great points there. He co-wrote and introduced the bipartisan, and we talked about this in an earlier article, but I wanted to read some of it because they interviewed him for this one. It's the Strengthening Supply Chains Through Truck Driver Incentive Act, which created a refundable $7,500 tax credit for professional truck drivers, which I think is great. $7,500, shit, with the price of fuel, that's about 7 weeks worth of fuel right now, about $1,000 a pop. I went to public school, so give me a couple of passes on my math there if it's off. In addition, he has helped lead efforts to boost recruitment of women into trucking. Although women make up half of our country's workforce, it represents less than 10% of professional truck drivers. The Promoting of Women in Trucking Workforce Act, again, yes, that's one thing we need to really see. And we talked about some of those things over the last couple of weeks. He's leading a sponsor on a bill to eliminate duplicative background checks and fees on drivers. The TSA, Security Threat Assessment Modernization Act, makes it less burdensome for job seekers to enter the trucking industry and benefit financially from driving by reducing costly and unnecessary government red tape, which I can always get behind about reducing unnecessary government red tape. All right. So it talks about here that, he talks about in this with the congressman, with the Q&A out there about what he appreciates the most about the trucking industry. And he says, Mike Gallagher says that I think the pandemic gave many Americans, himself included, a newly found appreciation for the trucking industry. That's the thing we can't lose sight of. As businesses closed and people stayed home, truckers carried on and ensured that goods from life-saving medicines to PPE was staying on the shelves. It also talks about what role do the truckers play in Wisconsin. It's 1 in 15 jobs that are out there. These men and women not only ensure shelves are stocked and goods get from point A to point B, but it keeps food on the table. And again, it's like, I think, my biggest takeaway from this article, you guys as a whole, was about appreciating what people do for us as a community, as the United States of America, because it's like, yeah, we need to do a better job of appreciating our truck drivers, but we also need to do a better job of appreciating people for the jobs that they do. We got to have empathy for, I think that's got to be a big look at this, because we're all a part of this giant machine here. Not one of us is any more important than the other, but we're all needed. And, saying thank you and actually being appreciative of the service people provide for you goes a long way, and I like seeing our elected officials actually do something to benefit their communities that they're elected to represent, as opposed to other things that I won't get into on this show. But again, trucking.org, Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher is a champion for trucking. And that's what we need. We need that. We need to hold our elected officials accountable. If we don't like something, get out there and call them. Let's see, John Radvansky, what's up, man? He drove from DFW to Houston and back over the weekend. He saw signs for truck parking on interstate, truck parking available. There we go. And then Papa Freight, what's up? I don't like how many states have parking picnic areas with no bathrooms. Yeah, that's a thing. I don't know. I got to look into that. Are there still Steve, you're out there all the time, man. Are there rest areas that are still shut down and stuff like that? I can't answer that, but I know that that's something that, should probably change if that's the case. But yeah, I think, kind of back to that article from trucking.org, you guys, like just the appreciation for the fact that, the working class, the supply chain, the trucking industry, we're the backbone of this economy. We're the backbone of this country. There's a lot of hardworking men and women that are out there, and We gotta make that appealing. We gotta open up people's eyes to that stuff, and we gotta work collectively better together. You know, we got to do that. We got to do a better job of working together. And I think that at the end of the day, it just takes one. If you want change, you got to start with yourself. Start with yourself and be the change that you're looking for. That's kind of it. That's it for today, you guys. Those were those 3 articles. I'll put all that up there on YouTube. Check it out on there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Show the love over there. You guys show me the love everywhere. I appreciate it. New episode of the podcast, Coffee with the Freight Coach, is available right now on iTunes and Spotify. Thank you guys all so much for the support. This is the top transportation morning show that's out there. We're live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, for 30 minutes to break down 3 industry headlines. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we'll be talking to you tomorrow for Wednesday.